We're back and we have a ton of things on the staging branch to catch up on. Also, the Aux 2 staging branch has been made public if you want to go take a look at all the new things on there for yourself. And it's also going to be Rust's 11th birthday here pretty soon. If you're wondering where I've been for the past 2 weeks, I was playing in Rust Kingdoms, and thank you so much to Abe for letting me play. It was a blast. So we've got to catch up on all the things that came out on Force Wipe this past month because we missed out on that. If you already know about this, don't worry, we're just going to cover it real quick. There's the new Tier 1 SMG, the SKS, and the new Wolf AI that we've been talking about for a long time is out. There was also a few random things like the CCTV nerf and adding more water well vendors, as well as the new Gesture Pack DLC. The radioactive water received a buff. There was some quality of life improvements to the mixing table. The hardware of the official Face Punch servers was upgraded. The new copy-paste creative mode command for admins was also released, and information has been updated on the Rust wiki for that, and a whole bunch of other changes that you can find on the blog if you missed out on this update the past month. In between December 6th until the 8th, the Rustopia Isles of Dominion Invitational event will be running on, hosted by Becca something. If you've seen my event, the Crucible Grounds, this will be a part of this as a sort of a minigame, so I will be co-hosting with Becca. I think it's going to be on day 2, and this event is also created by the same team, Lencorp and Lurk from the Spoon Kid and Winter Rust servers. I will have a link in the description to the donation page that's going to be active during this event, and all donations will be going to charity. Moving on to all the new things happening on the staging branch that we missed these past 2 weeks, the explosive effects of a ton of things are getting reworked. Those backpack skins that everybody thought I was lying about are here. The new flashlight overhaul is getting slightly adjusted over on staging. There was also some more adjustments to the rings that show around building blocked areas to make them easier to see. It was also Hack Week recently, and player graves with stats on them was one idea to pop up. And as you saw from the thumbnail of the video, there is a buriable loot container or a treasure chest that you can bury with a shovel and find with a metal detector. It would be really cool if the map item that's already in the game was given a use case via this feature. And for all the map creators and modders out there, there was some new road, tarmac, and wooden cube prefabs that were added to make your lives a lot easier. There was also a new Talk 06 animation that was added to the cinematic gestures list. And it looks like when the jungle biome and monument get released, they'll also be coming with a jungle skin DLC for your base. If you noticed your fingers were missing this past month, well, that's been fixed. And the surgeon scrubs will no longer require a workbench to craft it, making it very OP if you own one. There was some new commands added if you wanted to test the limited item store skins that drop every week, and you can see the commands for those on screen right now. The tuna can crafting recipe has changed from 2 empty tuna cans to 30 metal fragments. The stack size of the propane tanks has been increased to 20 from 5. The fridge inventory slots have been increased to 48 from 30. The 3 industrial lights that come as a DLC are all going to get merged together instead of being 3 separate items. The storage monitor has been given an electrical pass-through node. And Peacekeeper turrets will now notify players when they're within range of them and if they're hostile, so if you're not authed on the TC or the turret, you'll get this little icon up in the corner to help you know when you're about to get blasted. One of my favorite additions to staging this past few weeks was a box getting added to the minecarts that are in the underground train tunnels, and they have 18 slots, which is 3 rows, so you'll be able to collect all of your components and things like that in here with your teammates instead of having to throw them on the floor. If you're like me and you've ever started drowning while you're just standing in the water, there's been a fix to this, and hopefully there will be no more issues with the whole oxygen underwater system. The minimum depth required to place water pumps has been adjusted so that they can fit in the new rivers. I didn't realize that this wasn't a thing already, but the dynamic pricing is going to be applied to the inverse option of vending machines, meaning when you're selling a fish, you could potentially make more scrap than you normally would. Also, during this hack week, there was some work being done on new meat models that might potentially come with the tier 2 cooking. And there was a new convar added called player.cold_breath, which allows you to toggle the visibility of the breath cold effect. And soon there's going to be a 15% chance when you're deactivating a landmine that it explodes, which was always intended to be in the game. Player deployed elevator's speed has been doubled, and there's new buttons on the side that take you all the way to the bottom or all the way to the top instead of having to click and hold E to find this option. There's also work being done on crossfading between levels of details when things are rendering in, like how the trees have a weird mesh, then all of a sudden they're HD, or how these cliffs just appear out of nowhere without any sort of transition. And there's been a change to the way that you farm nodes. The sparkle is gone until you do the first hit, and you will automatically hit the sparkle, and then it kind of moves a little bit differently than it did in the past. The convar for server admins to limit the max shelters has been changed. The legacy shelters also now act like high external walls, meaning you have to stop to place them, and it will take 1.5 seconds to do so. And if you wanted to place a new one down, you can do that in the same way, but it will break your old one automatically after giving you this warning. I do not believe how much stuff I missed this past week. Apparently there's also a new plushie. I think this is a real life item, and you'll also get this item in game. You'll probably be able to find more information on the Twitter. I have no idea, but it looks really nice. There was a whole bunch of balancing that's been done to the wolves, and their little squeals that they make when you hit them have been made less sad. Their territory size that they can roam around in has been reduced by half. They will stop jumping excessively to reach players. They will give up and run away from you after a little bit of time, which is increased if you have a fire out, depending on if you've dealt damage to them recently. They will no longer respawn to a howl from another wolf that's not in their pack, which should hopefully prevent them from forming really big packs like you see here. And the population of wolves per kilometer has been decreased to 2 from 3, and their pack size increased from 3 to 4. So all of this combined should hopefully balance the wolves out a hell of a lot more than they were before. Shields are now on the Ox 2 staging branch, and here's a list of all the things that you can use with them since it's an offhand item that goes in your backpack slot. You will need to use one of these items to activate the shield, otherwise it'll be sitting on your back, where it will also reduce the damage that you take if it gets hit. There's 4 different types of these shields. These are the 3 biggest ones, and then there's a smaller circular one. The ice sculptures are also live on the Ox 2 staging branch, and oh my goodness, look at this huge chunk of thing sitting on a milk crate right here. If you have an item that does puncture damage, you can carve out whatever you want inside of this thing. I did not have too much time to play around with this, obviously, but so far it looks like the jackhammer is the easiest one to use with this, and any item that you use will take damage. And someday, if you try hard enough, maybe you can become an art savant like me. Another Hack Week project was flinging players out of the new Catapult. I really hope they get this one to work. That would be so cool. This is something that we've also been talking about for a very long time, and it's finally on the Ox 2 staging branch. Right now you're looking at the Siege Tower, which has 4 floors and 3 bridges. When you place one of these things down, you smack it with a hammer if you've got the resources, I believe, and it will build it. I don't think it's going to build this quickly once it's fully released. This is the battering ram, and that was the catapult. And this is the ballista, which at the time of the recording of this video was not fully textured yet. It's a big crossbow, and you can wind it up and shoot big arrows at people. I'm going to be making another video dedicated to just the siege weapons, because there's a bunch of features and use cases for these things that we don't have time to cover in this video, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on that. The catapult is probably the coolest thing so far besides the battering ram, because you can raid people with this thing. And just like every other Rust player, one of my favorite things is making stuff go boom. And don't forget there's a 4-shot mini crossbow coming soon, and I believe the way that it'll work is it'll have a clip of 4 arrows that you shoot one by one. I'm not sure what this one means, but I think it's player deployable targets that you can like shoot at or something. There's 2 new ones. That was a Hack Week project. Also, Pilgrim was working on a paintable easel, which would be so cool for the painters in Rust. But that's all I got for you guys today. If you want to go check out the description and help support the channel and get yourself a very nice Rust server, go click that Pine Hosting link. I'll get a little bit of commissions with every sale made through that link, and you'll get yourself a very nice Rust server. And Pine Hosting also offers high quality servers for other games as well. If not, you could also click the join button and become a channel member, which helps support me to create videos for you like this. But that's all I got for you guys today. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, leave a dislike if you didn't, and I'll catch you in the next one.